Give me a second. Make sure I'm streaming. Okay, perfect. So, hey, everybody on Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, if I didn't say it. It's like 6 platforms total. But, all right, let's talk about it. So, we're going to be talking about going from good to great. And we're also going to be discussing breaking past limitations. Okay, so personal limitations that you put on yourself, limitations that other people put on you, whatever limitations that you need to move past so you can take yourself or your business from good to great, and hopefully from great to the next level, which is sustainability, right? So good to great is saying, all right, I have something, it's working, it's going well, but I'm ready to take it to the next level and I'm not sure how to do that. So this book was recommended to me, Good to Great, and it focuses on 3 key principles. Those three key principles are disciplined people, disciplined thought, and disciplined action. So, in the first few chapters of the book, which I'm about halfway through right now, I would like to consider myself as wrapping it up, because once I get about halfway through, I'm just going to zoom through it. So, in this, they talk about getting the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. So a lot of people feel like, let me ask you, business owners, do you feel like one of the key parts of your business right now is saying, I need to get the right systems in place for my business? The reason why my business is not going to the next level is because of the systems that I yet to have put into place. If you have a business where it's your like your foundation, you're saying, okay, right now it's me, I might have a VA and a few team members who might be my family and friends who said that they're going to help me take my business to the next level. You may have noticed that you have stagnation in your business or in your personal growth because you are focusing on the wrong aspect of your business. And so I was really thankful that this book was recommended to me, because over the years, whether it had been my in-home daycare or it had been my gym with childcare, I'd always focused on personal effort. Like, if I am doing all the work, then I know that I'm going to get X result. If I'm putting in all the effort, I know that I'm going to get the result that I'm looking for. And so one of the issues that I really had a hard time with was relinquishing control over my business and entrusting other people with aspects of my business. Now, let me know, okay, am I the only one who has struggled with that? Because for me, I felt like at the point in time when I first started being a business owner in 2013, I felt as though because I didn't have the money to pay anyone, I had to learn everything myself. I had to learn the systems. I had to learn the website development. I had to learn marketing, branding. I had to be the secretary. I had to be all of that, right? And so when it got to the position to where my business started to grow, especially where I am now in this season of my life, and my business started to grow, and it started to grow very quickly, it got to the point to where I couldn't wear all the hats anymore. Like, responding to all the emails was taking up more time than I needed it to, because I needed to respond. I needed to focus on speaking engagements, and I needed to focus on course creation, right? And so it got to a point to where I had to start bringing other people on. And what that looked like was people who really loved me as a person, but might not have been the best fit for my business structural needs. And so in the book, when he's talking about going from good to great, one of the first things that he discussed is going from the position of having the right people, making sure you have the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. And so he goes into saying how you can identify what that looks like. So one of the hardest things that I had to do recently was make a clear-cut decision on who are the right people that I need to structure my business with or grow and develop my business with, and who are those who I might have wanted to grow with me, but because I felt like I had to babysit their process, because I felt like I had to hold their hand through the entire thing and really encourage them and motivate them to keep going and keep working on the business, I eventually had to realize that this is not the individuals that I need to be taking with me, because they're not self-motivated. They're not self-disciplined enough to do the things that are being asked of them when I asked them to come onto the business. So sometimes you're going to have these harder conversations if you really want to take your business from point A to point B. And that's the type of transition that I'm in right now. I'm super grateful for the growth that I'm having, but I don't want my business just to be an online business, right? I want my business to go from good to great. And so as I grow and develop and as I'm learning, I want you all to learn with me, because you may be in the position where you're saying it's time for me to make some shifts. I don't really know what shifts I need to make. And so this book right here has been very, very helpful in that process. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that they listed here. And the book is by Jim Collins. And I gave this book to you guys for free already. So some of you already have it. Let's go over some key parts here. So it's called Level 5 Leadership. This is the leadership that you have to reach within your own personal business if you really want to see it take itself to the next level. Okay, so first you have to ask yourself, first who, then what. Oftentimes in business, we're always, by Jim Collins, oftentimes we're asking ourselves, what do I need to do? How do I fix this? When the question should really be, who is my business being developed with? Who is around my business structurally? And are those even the right people for these tasks? So he said that we found instead that they first got the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus, and the right people in the right seats. And then they figured out where to drive it. So once you identify who the correct people are that you need, then you can start allocating the correct tasks and having the correct structural system. So you don't always want to have yes people around you. If every time you present an idea and they're like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. Those might not be the right people to have around you, because you need people who are going to fight against the grid of certain decisions that you're making so that you can have new thought processes that develop so you can create the proper systems, right? I don't want people around me who are always going to tell me yes when I'm making decisions. It's cool to feel like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. I'm making some good decisions, but I can't be making good decisions 100% of the time. I can't be making the best decisions 100% of the time. So you want to make sure that whoever you have around you, at least one or two of them are really going to push that envelope and bring new creative ideas to the table. Okay. Another one is confront the brutal facts. Okay. You must maintain unwavering faith that you can and will prevail in the end, regardless of the difficulties, and at the same time have the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever that is. So maybe you're in a season right now where things are not going the way that you want them to go in your business or your personal life. And when you say confront the brutal facts and have that unwavering faith, a large part of anyone's success journey is going to be making sure that you have the faith through whatever hills and valleys that your business is going through. There's going to be times where you may feel as though like, okay, this isn't for me. Maybe I need to go take a step back and do something else. But the best things happen when things are not going your way. So when you keep that faith and say, regardless, no matter what, I'm pushing through, I'm persevering, and I'm going to make this happen. There was a seminar that I attended, and this was in 2021. And I went and grabbed it because anytime I go to like seminars or conferences or whatever, I take like a notebook and I just write notes. So this whole notebook right here is filled with notes from that conference. And there was one thing here that I really enjoyed. So her name is Pastor Mo Mayerson. You guys can follow her on Instagram. I actually attended her service while I was in Texas. And so one of the things that she said at the conference that I went to, I believe it was last year, she said, God creates things in the dark, right? So if you're in a place where things are not going your way in your business, you're really feeling doubtful about it, just remember that anything that grows, it's growing in the darkness, right? So let's say you want to grow a plant. You're not going to put the seed on top of the soil and then expect that something's going to grow from it, right? No, you have to plant that. You have to dig up a hole in the ground, take that seed, put it underneath in the darkness, bury it. And then after you have watered it, let the sun get to it and all that, then grows from that dirt life. So the same thing happens with your business. Okay. You can't sit up there and say, well, I'm going through it. I guess I'll just sit here and things will change. No, when you're going through it, have the faith that things will get different because you are watering it, putting in the work, and continuing the faith that things are going to happen. So whether you're in a season of darkness or not within your business, as long as you are still focused on your growth journey, as long as you kept the faith plus work, right, equals success. So if you have something, I know it was really cool. I thought it was a great analogy that she made. So she said, seed plus time equals harvest. But if you're not planting the seed to begin with, planting the seed of saying, I'm going to put in the work, I'm not going to give up, holding on to the faith, time, waiting it through, continuing to have new ideas, continuing to focus on the end goal, right? And then eventually you will see harvest. So I always like to bring analogy to my person. I have to bring analogy to myself because I don't have nobody else to talk to in this room except for y'all's comments. So the only person I can really talk about right now is myself, and I'm so sorry. But what people see right now, like I have a lot of messages in my inbox about my recent growth, right? And they're like, dang, were you paying for followers? Did you were you paying for shout outs? Were you doing all this stuff? And I kept saying, no, it's literally been organic growth. Somehow, by consistency, by patience, by faith. And I was just doing it over and over and over and over again. And I was able to beat the algorithm. So I grew 73,000 followers within a month and a half time period. But where people may see this very short period of time, just like with a seed, you plant that seed, you're watering it over time, and eventually that seed will sprout above ground. And when it sprouts above ground, somebody may walk by and say, man, that happened very quickly. But they didn't see all the time that the seed was creating its roots in the soil. They didn't see all of that, right? They didn't see the time that it took. And so what people miss is that I became an entrepreneur in 2013 because I couldn't find a job because I was a stay-at-home mom and I couldn't make more than $7.25 an hour with a degree. So people miss that part. You miss the roots of the in-home daycare. You miss the roots of the gym with the child care. You missed all of that. And then I became a banker by way of life and its trials and tribulations. And I finally landed on a solid job and lost that. So I went back to my roots of everything that I learned from when I didn't have it. And I implemented everything that I learned over time. 2013, this is 2023, this is 10 years, or 2022. What year are we in? It's 2022? Am I ahead of myself? It's 2022. That's 9 years of growth and development that people are now seeing sprouting in a very short period of time. And they're wondering, how did I do it? What is she doing differently? And they're trying to study me without asking questions, but it just remains faith plus work, seed plus time equals harvest, faith plus work equals success, right? So some of you just aren't playing the game long enough. You're not holding the faith long enough. You're not waiting it through long enough. And that's the reason why you're not seeing the results. And you're also comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 12. And you have to stop doing that because your own personal journey is going to play out how it's going to play out. But if you're in the season of comparing, and if you're in the spirit of comparing, then what's going to happen is you're going to cut yourself out the game faster because maybe what God has for you isn't in this season, but it's in the next season because you never know. Maybe my season wasn't here when other people were really thriving in the financial industry, but now I'm in my season. And so it's going to flourish how it's going to flourish. And I'm grateful for that. And then there's going to be a season where another person comes in. I'm going to root them on because they're in their season. But if you're operating from a place of lack, worry, resentment, stress, you're going to be sitting up there watching everything everybody else does. One of the things that I do is I mute other people. So if they're in my industry and I'm not like buddy with them, I mute them because I don't want to get in the season of comparing. And it's not to say, oh, well, I'm looking for inspiration. I'm not looking for inspiration. Not to say I'm better than anybody else, but I got to walk my own path. I got to follow the calling I feel on myself. And so whether that's studying and reading notes all night and then coming on live and talking to y'all about the different things that I'm learning. I just don't want to get in the season of saying, oh, well, I wonder what the Budgetnista is doing. Oh, well, I wonder what X, Y, and Z is doing. I don't care, because what's for them is what's for them. And what's for me is what's for me. But I don't want to get caught in a season of comparing. It's not happening. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that as well, that you never lose that faith that is on you for your own personal journey, right? Start to get real comfortable in those seasons, not comfortable in a season of darkness, but appreciate them. Like, you got to start appreciating when things are happening in your life that aren't necessarily going your way, because there's a reason why it's happening. And I don't know if y'all know this, but for every season of struggle, there's a season of success. And you can't appreciate the season of success unless you've gone through a season of struggle, right? Like, you have to have some sort of measurement. So make sure that you're confronting those brutal facts and you're saying, this is where we are in business. This is where I am in my life. It's not going the way that I want it to go, but I'm grateful because there's something for me to learn from this. And I'm going to plant my seed of faith. I'm going to water it with work. And I will have the end result, success, by getting my harvest. All right. Awesome. Okay. Then he goes to say the hedgehog concept, simplicity within the three circles. So to go from good from great requires transcending the curse of competence. Just because something is your core business, just because you've been doing it for years or perhaps even decades, does not necessarily mean you can be the best in the world at it. If you cannot be the best in the world at it, your core business, then your core business absolutely cannot form the basis of a great business. It must be replaced with a simple concept that reflects deep understanding of three intersecting circles. So that's why I said, I just got email notification. So that's why I said you have to have people around you who aren't going to agree with you all the time, because maybe you need the contrasting ideas to develop something that is whole and sound. It's not to say your original idea is bad. It's just to say maybe you need some contrasting ideas to really make that idea well-rounded, right? And that's okay. A culture of discipline. All companies have a culture, okay? Some companies have discipline, but few companies have a culture of discipline. When you have disciplined people, you don't need a hierarchy. When you have disciplined action, you don't need excessive controls. Okay? When you have disciplined thought, you don't need a bureaucracy. And so I really like that, because this is the part where I felt myself. I didn't want to be a micromanager in my business. I wanted people around me who were happy to show up and happy to do what they did and happy to learn and happy to grow, right? That's what I wanted. And granted, for other people, it's still like a job because they're still working for someone. But I wanted it to be a place to where they felt as though it was a part of them, like it's a part of me, right? And you can find those type of people. So one of the things that I did was I asked the ladies who've grown from my program to work in my program, because I know that they're equally as emotionally attached to the mission as I am, because I've helped them go from living paycheck to paycheck to saving thousands of dollars to seeing an emotional and psychological change in these ladies from the process that they've gone through. So I reached back out and I said, hey, I really want to take this thing to the next level. I'm looking for some ladies who I believe can help me do this. And I know that you ladies have grown from the program yourself. Of the people that I asked, I am so grateful for the people who showed up. One of them being, her name is Alexandria. She went to the full extent. I didn't have to ask her to do anything beyond, hey, would you be an accountability coach? This is what I'm talking about on this part. When they say people will be disciplined in what they choose to be disciplined in. And this is how you know if you have the right people surrounded around you. She went on her own regard, created herself her own ID badge with the business. She changed her personal Instagram over to an Instagram that reflected the business. She's all in the community, just talking and being supportive and all of these things. And I don't have to ask her to do that. And then I identified that there's someone else who I asked to also do And I felt like I was pulling teeth. Like, hey, what's going on? Do you need, like, is everything okay? All this stuff. Like, okay, well, could you make sure you do this? As soon as I found myself getting into a babysitter's position and I started reading this book, Good to Great, and it talks about getting the good people on the bus, or the right people, excuse me, on the bus, and the people who may not be the best fit off the bus, that's what it's talking about. So ask yourself, who are those that show up without asking? Who are those that are going and showing all out for your business or for you and your in whatever you got going on? Those are the right people. Those are the people who are going to bring creative ideas. Those are the people who are self-disciplined. Those are the people who are action takers. Those are the people who are going to help you take your business from good to great. Okay. And when it's also talking about leadership, okay, it's also talking about leadership. So it says there's no single definition or action, no grand program, no one kill innovation, no solitary lucky break, no miracle moment. Rather, the process resembled relentlessly pushing a giant heavy flywheel in one direction, turn upon turn, building momentum until a point breakthrough and beyond. So some people are looking for this golden moment where you're like, if I just had this, that would change everything for my business. And that's not what it is. There's no miracle potion that's just going to turn your business around. At the end of the day, it's consistency. At the end of the day, it's making sure that you have the right systems, as well as making sure you have the right people in your structure, as the right people that you can get in your structure. This book that I'm talking about, you guys, this is it. It's Good to Great. You see it? Good to Great by Jim Collins. And this book, I was giving it away for free. So if you want it, just DM me. It's a PDF that I have of the book. I'm not collecting anybody's emails or anything like that. Literally the only thing that I basically am advertising just my book at the bottom of the live, but that's it. But if you want this book for free, just DM me and I'll send you the PDF. It's cool. The ladies in my community, they get everything. I screenshot the book. Thank you. You're welcome, Marlisha, on YouTube. Okay. So these are the key points that he's talking about. So with disciplined people, there's not much you need to ask of them. You give them a task, they're going to do their task, right? And they're going to do it to the best of their ability, not because you're telling them to do it, but because they genuinely just want to accomplish it. And so what that talks about is, where was that said? What that talks about is operating off of influence. So there's 4 types of influence as a leader, okay? You can have providential influence. This is people do it because I say do it, right? You can have positional influence, which is people do it because I'm the boss, which is how most people operate. Hey, I want to hire you, do these tasks. And they do it because that's their job. Okay. You have birth influence, and that's people doing it because of who your family name is, right? So if I say I'm a Rothschild, do X, Y, and Z, you're going to do it because of my family name, right? And then you have borrowed influence. So borrowed influence is saying I may not be influential myself, but my mentor or my best friend or whomever, this is the person's influence that I'm borrowing to get what I want. The type of influence that you want is you want people to be influenced because of what you're saying, not from a boss position, but from a you trust me, you like, know, and trust me. So because of those 3 factors, you're doing what I'm asking of you. That's the level of influence that you want to have. So there's people who I'm connected to that I could say, hey guys, I really want to go and help this group of people. Let's all donate $5 to go help this group of people. Those who are under that level of influence that say, you know what, I like, know, and I trust Raquel. So because she's asking, that's something that I want to go support. That's the correct type of influence, is because that's established influence. People feel like over time they like, know, and trust you. When you're building a business, having established influence is very, very important. Okay. And when it comes to limitations, so let's say you've got your business flowing, you're going through these different seasons, and let's just be fair, okay? Everybody goes through spaces in their life where they feel like they're hitting certain limitations. I don't care how successful somebody is, I don't care where they are in their own journey, they feel some sort of limitation at some point in time. The last time I felt it was when I was writing my first book. I felt like I was not capable of doing it. I wrote the book. I was ready to refund everybody their money when I started signing the books, because I was having an anxiety attack over the fact that all these brilliant minds were going to start reading something that I wrote, and I didn't want to offend anyone. So rather than send out the 100 and something pre-ordered copies, I was going to take the $1,700 loss from ordering the books, and then the $2,300 loss from everybody purchasing the books, and I was going to refund everybody their money. And I called Jacint, I called the Broke Black Girl, I called Jacint Gems, I called the Broke Black Girl, and I called Anthony, and I was crying on the phone. I was like, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm sending it back. Like, they can have it. I just can't. And that was a limitation I was putting on myself. So I went from basically not wanting to put a book out at all after I already wrote it and everything, to now having a book sold in 7 countries in 37 states without a single ad. So now I took that limitation off me of doubt, worry, fear, judgment. All of those limitations are now gone. And so now my next goal is to sell a book in every state in the US. My big goal is to sell 10,000 copies. Okay, because I don't have any ads. This is all like self-published, self-sales. And so I pray that one day I grow to the point to where I do have 10,000, 100,000 copies sold of my book, right? But it's a major accomplishment for me. So really excited about that. So let's talk about limitations. Okay. There's 3 types of common limitations. And this came from the sermon from Pastor Mo Marison. I'll share if I can find the exact clip from the sermon that I listened to. I'll share it in my stories, but it was really good. So she said 3 types of common limitations. The first one is talents and gifts that you haven't discovered. So because we haven't discovered it, we hold ourselves back, or we get comfortable doing something that's not really our true gift. So for example, there may be some place that you're working right now, but you're working it because you're saying, okay, I'm paying the bills, I'm keeping a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in my stomach, I'm able to take care of my family. But what you do that's actually passion filled, right? You have not recognized that yet as your true gift. So because you haven't recognized that as your true gift, you've yet to step out on that potential. So there's something that each and every one of you are just talented at. And I don't know what it is. Maybe you're the person that everybody talks to when something's going wrong and you help them find clarity. Maybe you're the person that people come to when, you know, they've got something creative they're trying to do, and you're the one that's like, oh yeah, we can go and this is how this whole thing's going to look, and this is how this event is going to be put together, and you can do that without a blink of the eye because that's your specific talent and skill set. Maybe you're the person who is naturally gifted in athleticism, and health and wellness just comes like the back of your hand to you, right? But because you haven't identified that as your specific gift, you've identified that as a hobby, you've yet to really step out on it. And so that's limiting you, right? I'm not, first of all, I ain't gonna tell nobody leave their job, y'all. If the job is paying the bills, okay, pay the bills. But what I am saying is that you should start recognizing that as a gift. And maybe that's something you can start implementing as an additional source of income at some point in time, learning how to leverage that on your time off or whatever the case. But because you haven't identified your gift, you're limiting yourself. All right. The second one is time management. If you mismanage time, you're basically off alignment with everything. All right. Somebody who mismanages their time mismanages their life. And that's just that. All my people with low attention spans, and we feel like we can make it somewhere in 15 minutes, knowing good and well it takes 30 minutes. We got to do better. Okay. Because if you mismanage time, you'll mismanage your life. If you left on time, you'd be able to drive the speed limit and get there on time. But because you didn't leave on time, now you're not driving the speed limit. Now you're not only putting your life at risk, but somebody else's life at risk to save all of 5 minutes, right? And then now you rushing, you're breathing heavy, you're sweaty. It's not cute. So if you mismanage your time, you're mismanaging your life. And that goes in so many different aspects. So there is some things that you can do to manage your time better. There's a book called The Millionaire Morning, which I absolutely adore. Time management was something that I really really struggled with for a long time. And so with time management, the book, The Morning Millionaire, it's a 40-page book. It's in my free resource vault if y'all want it. Now, that one you do have to put your email in to get it, but it's a 40-page book. It's really good. And it talks about restructuring your day. And the guy went and interviewed a bunch of millionaires, and he basically averaged out what everyone did that made them successful millionaires during their routines. And so that's what the 40 pages is. So you'll go through and you'll read what they did, and then you'll create a separate list for how your life is going to be structured when you get up in the morning so that you can accomplish those things as well. When you do this, you're going to notice an immediate shift in your level of productivity. You're going to feel like you have control over your day versus reacting to your day. And you may also notice a shift in your income if you're an entrepreneur. For me, I did that for 30 days and it was absolutely amazing. My income improved, my productivity improved, my attitude was different because I was no longer reacting to my day. Like I said, I now had control over it. So I would like to see how it benefits you all as well. Also, with time management, a good habit is to just go ahead and take inventory of your day. So if you think you're not wasting time and you just think there aren't enough hours in the day, what I want you to do is get out a sheet of paper. And on that sheet of paper, you're going to write from the time you typically wake up to the time you typically go to bed. And for every hour of that day, you're going to jot down what you did during that hour. What you're going to notice is that there are gaps in there where you're like, oh, wow, I really wasn't doing much right here. I was chilling on my phone. I was watching some TV longer than what I thought I was watching it. You know, there's going to be these gaps in here too, where you're going to realize that you have some opportunity to work on personal development, work on self-care, maybe work on a side hustle or start building your business. And so once you're made aware of this, then you're naturally going to want to put something productive in that space. By the first day, you're going to recognize it. By the second day, you're going to want to start trying to implement and put things in those spaces. But I don't want you to do it by the second day. I want you to do it on the third day. The second night when you go to bed, I want you to write out your ideal schedule for the next day because you already have inventory of how you've been operating for the past 2 days. So you can see where your gaps are. When you go to bed that night, you're going to do the same thing from the time you typically wake up to the time when you go to bed. You're going to mark off everything on there that is your non-negotiables. So your work schedule, you're going to block off. Anything that you have to do with your kids, if you have kids, you're going to automatically block off. Those are non-negotiables. Then for your negotiable spaces, that's where you're going to put maybe if there's a hobby that you want to do, or if there's some personal development that you want to start doing, or some self-care that you want to do, you want to put those in those gaps. And then you want to operate off of how that schedule is. And tell me you don't notice a difference. And listening, I'm going to keep it with y'all. Listening to audibles is not the same as reading a book. You can't highlight key points in an audible. Okay. You just can't do that. And also, a lot of people have squirrel brains like myself. And if you have a squirrel brain and your mind deviates mid-thought and you're over here thinking about all the things you have to do and Jim Collins is playing in the background, you're not going to be like, oh, Jim Collins, wait a second. Your brain's going to go all the way this way. And then you're going to realize that you lost focus. And then you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm listening to this. And you're going to go back to it. So you might as well just take the 30 minutes out of your day or hour out of your day and just get you a couple of highlighters and sit down and just highlight the key points in your book. It's undivided focus. It's very undistracted. It's just very good. It's good for everybody. Okay. And then the last thing is money. So a lot of people feel like you can't do something because you don't have enough money, right? Oh, I want to start a business, but I don't have enough money. I want to go learn some stuff, but I don't have enough money to pay for the course, so I'm not even going to worry about it. How many of you guys feel like money is one of your key limitations? How many of y'all feel like money is a key limitation for you? Merlisha, she said, can I place my email here for the book? DM me on Instagram for it. Do you have Instagram? I'll put my Instagram right here. All right, you're going to want to pay attention if you feel like money's an issue. Ooh, that's so wrong. Don't do that. Sorry, that's wrong. Don't do that, Melissa. There we go. Oh, I'm responding from Twitch. That's crazy. I hope you can see it. Okay. There we go. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. I'm trying to respond to her. Okay, I wasn't sure you got it. All right, perfect. So message me on Instagram. I'll make sure you get it. All right, so if you feel like money is the issue, one, money is never the issue. Okay? It's a lack of determination. Because if you can get your foot, let's say it's a physical event. Let's say it's a physical event and you're like, "Oh my gosh, general admission is $297, VIP is $1,400 or $2,400. How the heck? I don't have the money to get into that." Right? But you want to go hear Eric Thomas, or you want to go hear Bougie Baker, or you want to go hear, I don't know, somebody else, Jim Collins, John C. Maxwell. You want to go hear, David E. Medici or somebody, and they have these expensive behind tickets. All you have to do is become a volunteer. Volunteer. Get your foot in the door. But you got to take pride and ego away, right? If there is speakers oftentimes need help. If there's an event, oftentimes the event needs people to work the event. So you can become a volunteer at a lot of these things, and you might have to wear the event t-shirt. You might not get to be in there all extra fly and crispy like you want to, but you got your foot in the door. Your foot is in the building. And if you can serve, then you can provide a service. If you can prove that you are good at serving, right? So saying like, "Hey, I just want to be a resource to someone else," then what do you think is going to happen in return? You're going to get what you want. Okay, I'm volunteering, but you're getting the information. You're in the building. So what's the issue? One of the very first events that I went to, I was with this company and I really couldn't afford a lot of the things that they had, but I could become a volunteer. As soon as I saw that they needed volunteers, I put my information in. I had to wear a t-shirt, a big old red t-shirt that said volunteer. I had to be there extra early in the morning, but I got in the building and I was close to the stage. So I took notes. I got some of the best notes. And I got to see the speakers up close. So I didn't have to pay VIP tickets, right? And I was in there for free. There's a lot of things that you can get if you take saying it's a monetary issue opposed to a resource issue. So that's what you can do if it's an event. Just become a volunteer. See where you can be a resource. See where you can help somebody. Matter of fact, even to this day, one of my homegirls, she got a really nice speaking engagement, right? Her social reach is a lot lower than mine, but her impact is amazing. Like, it's fire. She told me what she had going on. I said, "Girl, let me be your personal assistant." And all she could do was start cracking up. And she was like, "Girl, you don't want to try to be a speaker?" I was like, "I'm not trying to, cool if they want me to speak, but let me be your personal assistant. I want to get my foot in the door. I want to hear these other speakers speak." You understand? But if you're too prideful to serve, or if your ego is too ego bound to serve, then you're really going to limit yourself anyway, because you don't know how to operate in humility. All right, cool. So we talked about an event. Now let's talk about if it's a product. If you are trying to start a business from a product base, they have things where you can launch it without having any money on hand initially. So let's say you started your free website with Wix, right? And thank you. Make sure y'all turn your post notifications on. I appreciate that. So let's say you wanted to have a product. So who is that? I just got a strange email. You want to have a product-based business, but you don't have enough money for inventory, right? The only inventory that I ever keep on hand is my books, because I physically sign my books and I want to touch every single book that goes out to everyone. Outside of that, if it's a product that someone has bought for me, it is a drop ship product that I don't pay anything out of pocket. So all you have to do is say, "Okay, I don't have any money. I need a website." Okay, Wix has free websites. Okay, well, I want to start a product-based business. Well, what's a product you want to sell? I was thinking maybe mugs or t-shirts or pillowcases or canvas prints or book bags or socks or shoes. I was thinking something like that. And I want to put my own design on it and I want people to purchase it from me, but I really don't have any money to do it. Okay, well, Printful is a free website that you can go to, and all they do is they show you like, hey, these are some mock-ups. You can go and create your own design on Canva. You create your own design on Canva, you put it on the mock-ups. They're going to show you, okay, for us to sell this, let's say mug, or for us to sell these, yeah, let's just stick with mug. For us to sell the mug, it's $7.99. So it'll say unit price $7.99. And then you're going to put the price you want to sell it at. So unit price is $7.99 per mug. You're going to say you want to sell it for $15.99. Now, when someone purchases it, right, they purchased it through your website from Printful. You don't have any inventory. You don't have any out-of-pocket expenses because it's taken the overhead out of the $15.99 that the customer has paid. And then now all you see is a deposit from Printful from the amount that you said you wanted to sell it for. So you get paid the difference. Printful handles the shipping, the handling, the returns. They handle everything, literally. And you get to customize like how your receipt looks and all of that fun stuff, right? Zero inventory on hand. So you can start a product-based business for free. You can have a website for free. Let's say, even they do candles. Let's say you want to start your own coaching business, but you're saying you don't have enough money to start your own coaching business. You don't need any money to start your own coaching business. All you need is proven results. That's it. So remember when I was saying earlier about how everyone has talents and gifts, right? Everyone has something that they are just naturally skilled at. God gives everybody a gift. Whether you recognize what your gift is or not, that's different. And you may need some help discovering what that is. And there are people who do that. They're called clarity coaches. Maybe you can do that for everybody else, but you can't do it for yourself, right? So maybe for you, people come to you and you're like, dang, everybody always comes to me for advice. Everybody always wants help and they come to me. And you're like, I just love it because I get to help the people that I care about and I'm pouring value into them and people trust me, but not recognizing that that is an actual gift, a talent, right? You have discernment, you have clarity for them. You're providing that as a service. So now what you need to do is you need to go create a Facebook page. From that Facebook page, you want to make sure that you have a reviews tab. From the reviews tab, you want to send everybody that you've already helped, friend, family members, I don't care. You're going to take that link and you're going to message it to them. And you're going to say, hey, can you write a review on how it was like working with me when I helped you? Because I'm getting ready to start a coaching business on helping people find clarity around X, Y, and Z. Do you think they're going to say, oh, that's stupid, that's a bad idea? No, you helped them. You gave them proven results. So what are they going to say? Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I always knew you would be good at that. Yeah, I would love to support that. And then they're going to go write a review about how it was working with you and how you helped them. So then what you're going to do is you're going to leverage those reviews from Facebook, because Facebook is a source that people trust as a review location. So you're going to grab those screenshots, head on over to Canva, jazz them up with the backdrops and all of that, pop them over to Instagram as a testimonial. Then what you're missing is a Calendly link. So now as you're advertising yourself and you want to provide resourceful, useful information, don't post things that are static posts just to say you post. Stop. Don't do that. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all be like, today's going to be a magical day. Snowflakes, unicorns. Yay. Like, that's a post. Like, what'd you post that for? That's just fluff. Find something that is relevant to what you do. Y'all see what I do. I'm a finance coach. I read the news every single day. Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, like Binance. I'm on all of these websites every single day. I'm just reading. Okay. And so what I do is I find articles that I find that are interesting, and then I go and I talk about them. So whatever space you're in, be a resource in that space. So if I can provide something that's going to help my audience, I'm going to do it. It's not going to take any change out of my pocket, because when I decide to sell something, because I built trust, people are going to buy it. Okay. So for you, you're saying you want to start a coaching business, grab those Facebook reviews, leverage them on a different platform, Instagram, Then what you're going to do is go and find information that is resourceful to whatever it is that you do. And you're going to talk about it. And you're going to let people build trust, build likeness, right, with you. And then you let them know, if you want to work with me further, I would love for you to schedule a consultation with the link in my bio. You can go to Calendly and get you a Calendly link for free. Calendly link is a scheduling platform. It's absolutely free. You can get one link for free. And from there, you're going to put your hours of operation. So if you work full time and you're like, you know what, I only want to take calls maybe an hour or two after I get off of work, or maybe I'm only taking calls on the weekend, well, you're going to make your schedule look like that. So you can let people schedule 15 to 20-minute consultations. When you're on the phone with them, you're going to help them through that process as best you can within those 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure you set a timer, because you don't want them going over. You want them to respect your time, right? And when that timer is up or it's winding down to those last 5 minutes, you want to start to transition the conversation into a sell and let them know, I can definitely help you in these areas. This is how I can help you. I'd like to move forward. And that's when you state your price. Now, initially, you might have to start off with like a PayPal invoice system, but of course, later you want to transfer over to like Stripe. But all of this is free. This is no cost. This is no cost to you. I just showed you how to start a coaching business for free, a product-based business for free. What else was it? It was a third one. I did product coaching. What was another one? I did the third one. I don't remember what it was, but I showed you. So there's businesses that you can start for free. But because you've created limitations around yourself, now you're not doing anything. Limitations are the one thing that are going to stop you from becoming who you want to become in life. A lot of us operate in survival mode, and I get it because I've operated in that space for a while. But you're going to wake up and go from survival mode to truly trying to survive, because there is an older version of you waiting. And that older version is either really, really proud of you right now or is really disappointed, because there's going to come a point in time where you're not going to have the same health that you have. You're not going to have the same agility. You're not going to have the same level of energy. And right now you may be saying, well, I'm too tired. Well, I don't have time. But then the 70-year-old, 75-year-old version of you is going to say, you have all the time in the world. And then you're going to be one of those people who may be retired, but because we don't know what the cost of living is going to look like when we're in our 70s, who didn't properly set things up for themselves. And I'm not talking about businesses. I'm just talking about in general, like investments, whatever. You're going to be one of those people who have a retirement plan, but it's not enough to cover the current cost of living. And I've seen that every day as a banker. I've seen it every single day. And I've cried with elders over that, because they work their entire lives trusting one system, and that's the retirement plan. And then they get to this age, and they're at this age, and they're like, I thought it would be enough, and it's not enough, because the cost of living is different. So get your systems right. Get yourself in order. Figure out how you as an individual, not even a business owner, as you as an individual can go from good to great, right? So there's some things you need to look at. Now let's talk about this on a personal end, because personal growth, business growth, this all growth. Personal end. The book said, Good to Great said, get the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. So that is even in your personal life. Some of you are surrounded around the wrong people to this day. But because there may be trauma bonds, because there may be drama bonds, you're keeping them around knowing that they're not in the best interest of your growth. Get the right people on. Get people who are going to question. Get people who are going to challenge you. Get people who are going to push you. I don't ever want to be the brightest person in the room. I just want to be the person that can bring an idea, but also learn. That's what I want to be. And if you are the brightest, considered the smartest, the most successful person that's around you, then you are in the wrong company, because you've limited yourself. You've limited your growth potential. And you need to do your best to make sure that this current ceiling that you're at becomes your new floor. Because you're only going to be in ha la la land about your current level of success for so long until you get comfortable, you get bored, it's not good enough anymore, or whatever the case may be. But you got to surround yourself around other people. Okay. The other one, hold on, I'm going to open this book again so I can get back on track. The other one, let me see. Okay, confronting the brutal facts. Confronting the brutal facts. And I'm always telling y'all, look, take your notes. Y'all see my book? I will be all up in here. Okay, confronting the brutal facts about your personal lives. Where are you right now? That's literally my book, Mastering Your Money Mindset. The self-discovery book is about confronting the brutal facts about your personal relationship with money, where you are right now, not the person you pretend to be on social media, not the facade you put out there as soon as you step out your front door, but confronting the brutal facts about where you truly are in your finances right now. But you also need to do that in other areas of your life. You need to do that in the physical space of your life. You need to do that in the spiritual space of your life. You need to do that in the mental space of your life and the financial space of your life. Confront the brutal facts. Are you where you want to be in those areas? And if not, you need to start structuring a plan around that and have faith enough to see it through. Okay? Faith is the belief of things not seen. You just got to have the faith. You just got to know that it's going to get better. You just got to know that you're going to become the person that you want to become. I'm still in my growth journey. Dare I say, I truly feel like I've cracked the beginning of my growth journey because I'm really developing in personal and business at this moment. I've never read so much. I've never had a desire to study so much. I've never started my day like the way that I've started it so much. I've never ended my day the way that I've did it. So dare I say, I really feel like I'm turning into the person that I really imagined that I will always be. And the person that I was years ago is certainly proud. Certainly proud. Okay. So confront the brutal facts and never lose the faith. Remember, your journey is the roots. You're that seed that's under the soil. You may be in a dark season right now, but everything that you're going through in your struggle is just creating seasoning to your success. So it's those roots that are developing in those hard times. I've never met a person that's gone through something and didn't come out better on the other end because they learned to learn in the darkness. And then when they came out and when they sprouted, there was something anew. Okay, so hold that faith. Then you want to create a culture of discipline within yourself and with others around you. Okay, so what does that look like for you? What does that culture of discipline look like for you? Disciplined people, disciplined thought, disciplined action. The Morning Millionaire is phenomenal for this. It's 40 pages. Please do yourself the favor and read it. It's a 40-page book. If you can't read that, I don't know what to tell you. But if your job paid you $18 an hour and said, read this 40-page book, I'm paying you to read this 40-page book, I'm sure you would get it done. And then they probably would even have a quiz at the end just to make sure you've read it, right? Because you have jobs that hire you and they do assessments. So pretend for a second that this is about the job of your life and about improving your personal life, and just knock this out. Become a disciplined person, become a person of consistency, of disciplined thought, disciplined action, and everything will change. Okay? And get those limitations off yourself. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. There was one more thing I wanted to cover with you guys. So the last thing is, remember I told you the limitations that you have in yourself. They're talents and gifts that you haven't discovered, time management, right? And then we talked about money. But even though money is really important, you can still navigate around money. And I showed you guys how to do that with whether it be coaching, product, business. Now, it was something else. I just don't remember what it was. Rats. I can't remember. But there are 5 things that are greater than money. Okay. The 5 things that are greater than money is to have an idea. If you have an idea, you can spark life into anything. Every great thing started with an idea. Anything you can imagine. The phone that y'all are on watching the live, the computer, the paper, the makeup, the wigs, the notebooks, the video game systems, everything, the cars we drive, it all started from an idea. So if you have an idea, don't think it's a dumb idea. The only dumb idea is the idea you take with you to your grave because you were not entrusting yourself enough to bring it to light. So if you have an idea, jot it down. Don't let it be another idea at a gravesite. Jot it down. Share it with someone. Share it with someone who is a big thinker. But don't share it with someone who doesn't believe that you can achieve great things, who looks at stuff you say and says, "Do you really think you can do that?" Don't share it with those type of people. Start going to conferences and get around like-minded people. That's why I love them so much. When I was really going through seasons of change and I was really like shifting myself as a person, sharing that I wanted to get into investments with certain people. They're like, what you want to do that for? You can barely pay your bills. Right. But then I would go to these conferences and then I would tell them who I was. I'd be like, hey, I'm Raquel. Yeah, like I'm getting into investing. And they'd be like, what? Me too. What are you looking at? What are you investing in? Da, 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 da. And it's just like this light and it's this excitement. And if you can get equally as excited, or you can get around people who are as equally as excited about things like you are, like an idea that you have, if people are equally excited about that idea, those are the people to be around because they see it. They don't see you for who your family sees you for. They don't see you for the things you've been through. They don't see you for the mistakes that you've made. They see you for who you say you are. And they believe the energy that you bring to the table because it's like-minded, because maybe they're trying to grow from something too, and they just want to be around like-minded people. And the more you can do that, the more those ideas will turn into things. And it's just so beautiful. And I'm still friends with some of the people that I started out with in my growth journey because we had like minds. And I've watched them grow and develop. Like they're watching me grow and develop. And I get messages all the time. And they're like, sis, I remember when you started out at X, Y, and Z. I'm so proud of you, because they believed me when I started. So just do that. Yep. Somebody said, on Facebook, let me share this. That must be from the ladies from my groups. They said familiarity will cause people to fail. Exactly. Okay. Then another thing, the second thing that's greater than money, favor. You know, people say favor ain't fair. I am favored. Okay. I am highly favored. Have a good night, Coach Janichi, I think it is. Favor, it says favor. Okay. Psalms 5:12. Favor is like currency. Learn how to spend it. Psalms 5:12. Favor is like currency. Learn how to spend it. When you have favor, and the third thing is access, okay? Having the right type of access to the right type of people. Whenever you have favor and you have access, you have to be very, very careful. I look at those as you want to take care of that like you know how careful we are with an egg when we take it out of the basket. We don't want to crack it. We don't want to drop it. We got to be careful how we set it on the countertop because we don't want it to crack and we still got to use it. We don't want shells to break into the yolk. Once you mess up favor and access, you can just cancel everything. Okay? Having favor is such a place of peace because you're like, okay, I'm in my calling, with my design purpose. I'm doing the right things. But if you don't walk truly in that purpose, you can mess favor up, right? Favor is definitely like currency. You have to be careful how you spend it. And having access, whenever you give access to someone or you get access to someone, you have to be careful because once you give it, you can't take it back, right? You just can't. So be very, very careful. If someone is saying, hey, I'm inviting you in my space, and they're entrusting you with whatever space they've invited you into, make sure you have a pure heart when you go into that space. Just like how when you are inviting someone into your space and you're entrusting that they're going to do right by you, make sure you go with that same level of humility, that same level of servitude, that same level of peace that you would expect for people to come into your space with when you get access to them. Yes, absolutely. My live stream, y'all are amazing over here. So relationships are like currency. Something is being spent regardless. Absolutely. And you can't, those things are very hard to fix. Okay. And influence. Okay. Influence, like I was telling you, you have provincial influence, positional influence, birth influence, and borrowed influence. Me personally, I like the influence of people are doing what I'm asking them because they like and they trust me and they feel like they know me. I don't want people to do what I say because I say do it. I don't want people saying, oh, you're a Rothschild, so that's why I'm going to do what you're going to do. And I definitely don't want people doing stuff because I'm like, oh, my mentor X, Y, and Z. Like, you can do that temporarily while you're really like in your growth journey. But once you start to get that I like, know, and trust you factor about yourself, be very careful with that level of influence. That's why I'm like, I'm super cautious. Okay. So y'all, I hope that y'all found this live helpful. The books that I used today, I used Good to Great by Jim Collins. If you want this book, let me know. Just DM me on Instagram. I'll send you the free PDF. And then these are my notes from Believe Nation 2021 and 2022. So I got to learn from, man, so many amazing people. The person that I was going over today was Pastor Mo, Pastor? I think it's Reverend. Dr. Pastor Mo Marison. She has the Instagram. The church has the Instagram. Oh, Diamond, thank you for buying my book. Oh, I can't wait to sign your copy. That's so sweet of you. Yay. Also, thank you. So that was Pastor Mo Marison. I'll see if I can find one of her clips. I'll put it in my stories. So this was a sermon from last Sunday that I was talking to you about limitations. I was talking to you about positions of influence. And also she discussed the 34 spiritual gifts that are in the Bible. And she was talking about the limitations that were put on different people in the Bible and how like they could move past that. And then she tied it into like our personal journeys and our personal growth, which I really, really liked. And so I also went back into my notes from when I heard her speak at the Believe Nation conference. And that's where I grabbed the growth from it being a planted seed and you having to wait for the harvest, right? So just some really good stuff. All right. I started reading Go Giver because of you. Yay! Go Giver is amazing. Yes, Go Giver is awesome. So that's it, you guys. If you want one of the PDFs, let me know. Message me. I got a lot of DMs to respond to. The stock class sold out. So it sold out in like a week and a half. 100 seats are gone. I may release a recording that you guys could purchase if you miss class, or I may just teach a second class. I haven't gotten to a place of comfort with that decision yet, but I'll definitely let you guys know. And then to all of you who purchased a book on this live, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you guys. I will make sure that I sign it and get it mailed out to you first thing in the morning. So you guys have a wonderful night. I appreciate you for hanging out with me. Bye.